Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion, Messi is better than me, but in my mind, I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy car cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up,
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. We are back to talk all things the beautiful game. But as always, as we wait for the latecomers, we will, of course, discuss the charity leagues, the fantasy football, the Super Sixes. Fantasy football first. Excuse me. The Jonathan Stevens had the highest score of the round with 95 points. We have a new overall leader. Well done to Ollie Rushford with 403 points so far this season. But on to the Super Six. First and foremost, Jason Whitworth topped yesterday's midweek round with a massive 16 points, only just beating me by 2 points. But our very own Rob Boyle topped the weekend round with 13 points. A very honourable 11 from Mr. Rhodri Giggs on Saturday. Not so good in the midweek. So Rhodri got 6 in the midweek, which means Rhodri is currently on 73 points, and I've closed the gap down to 67. As we march on to 3 o'clock Saturday, we will do our predictions at the end of the league, at the end of the show. But of course, we all know that normal processes will be resumed, and I'll be ahead of Rhodri again for the third year in a row. But, you know, it's fun while it lasts. But as
That's
ever,
the first time you've beat me in about 4 weeks. Relax.
Yeah, but mate, it was
quite
a beating.
Like the message I've been sending you. I've been sending you pictures of me with binoculars looking at you down the table. I can't even see you that far down. Now I can see you that you're in 20 something. I'm top 10. I'm looking it up. I'm just a fingertip away. You're miles away. What are you on about?
I've literally in 1 week, not even a full week, in just one midweek round, I just smashed you into oblivion, and it's now down to 6 points.
Oh my God, it's like 8 points. I've been doing that last 4 weeks.
6 points,
That's why I'm in the top 10 and you're dwindling down in the 20s.
Well, you're down to 6 points ahead, mate. I'll do that in one day.
I'm in the top 10. Where are you?
Just below you.
Where? 20 what? Yeah.
I think I'm
12.
12?
No one remembers them. Yeah, I'm in the top 10. I'm in fingertips. You're miles away.
Come on, mate. Don't get excited. You do it every year. You get all excited.
Over now, yeah?
Yeah, go on. Roger gets all excited. And then come the where it matters, and I just put him to bed every year. Every year he gets excited early doors. He goes full scouse. Gets all excited. This year's their year, and then when the shit hits the fan, they haven't got what it takes.
You getting excited last night, thinking you're going to be in the act for the Carabao Cup,
mate? I didn't even look at it. Like, oh, you mean a Cardiff, mate? Look, did you see the bench? It was like literally.
I was watching elite football. I was watching.
The Cardiff had all like the oldest player on the bench was, I think, Ruben Colwell's younger brother. Like, he was so young, but yeah, they was. Don't matter, mate. The League Cup don't matter, mate. However, I do want to talk about some stuff. There's some interesting things have happened over the weekend. FSG have agreed to sell a minority stake in Liverpool, worth about 82 million to between 82 million and 164 million to Dynasty Equity. Gee, is that a good or a bad thing, do you think, mate?
Who they sold it to?
Dynasty Equities is basically another American investment firm by the sounds of it. Not all of it, it's just a big chunk, like a chunk of it. Basically to get some investment in it.
A bit of money laundering. Yeah, so yeah, who knows? No, it's not. It's a drop in the ocean, isn't it, now? These clubs are worth billions, so 80, 90 million, what's that going to get you?
Well, it says up to 164 million, but even that is, it's not a great deal in the grand scheme of things.
They're paying what, 2-3%?
Look, I don't think FSG are quite on the level of the Glazers in terms of scummy owners, but they're not that far off, I've got to say.
The businessmen, mate, the businessmen. They've won the league, they've won the Champions League since they've been there. The Glazers won the Champions League, haven't they? And multiple leagues as well, so.
Yeah,
but they're building. Anfield's getting bigger. It's getting, it's not leaking. Old Trafford's a dump. You look at the big clubs around the world now. The Bernabeu,
training grounds
Bernabeu. Look at the ground now. They've reinvested in it. It's cost them so much money, but look at it now. It's amazing. I was watching on a video today. The new camp's getting knocked down.
Yeah, they sold the rights to it at first, didn't they, to Spotify?
Yeah, so that's going to that'll be amazing because that's a big plot. I remember going there in 1999 European Cup final, and it was like there was 120,000 people in there, and no one will tell me any different. People say, "Well, how do you get 120,000 people?" Because there was a lot of Manchester people there with a lot of snide tickets, and people at the end, people were just rushing the gate, and it was just rammed in there. No one was sitting down. Everyone was standing up, and it was guaranteed 120,000 people in that stadium.
Do you know, on Barcelona,
mate? Stadium, that big old plot. So this will be a really nice one as well.
On the Barcelona thing, did you see with the investigation into their finances? They raided the referee's headquarters in Spain, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. Was Pep managing there? I
don't know if he was still involved during that time. I think he might have been, Not that we're casting any aspersions, of course. But
charges, where there's smoke, there's fire. If one charge is here, then it follows someone. Allegedly.
Did he get done for Nandrolone when he was a player, Pep?
Pardon?
Did Pep get done for Nandrolone? Like a drugs test?
I don't know. I never heard of that.
I seem to remember something to do with like drug tests and stuff with him, but I can't remember what it was. I'll have a little look up in a minute. But in your opinion, just hypothetically, who's more corrupt, Manchester City or Barcelona?
Ooh, Barcelona.
Dodgy,
Barcelona. I'm not gonna.
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly, yeah, but I'm not gonna. I've got a lot of City friends. Then, City have got a lot of charges, but Barcelona have been doing it for years, man. Years.
I'm
Real Madrid to a certain extent because people bailing them out. Royal family. If it's not Royal family, it's someone else.
Well, the league bails them out, doesn't it? Like the two clubs, they get bailed out financially.
Not connected somehow. Someone will be getting grease with a big brown envelope somewhere.
So here's a question then, right? When Juventus got done for match fixing and dodgy stuff to do with their finances and the referees and stuff, they got relegated, didn't they? Way back, a few years back. So if they're raiding the referees' headquarters and stuff with Barcelona, surely that should be relegation and stuff for them, shouldn't it? It was proven.
Wait a minute. They've raided what?
The referee headquarters, like the headquarters of the Referees Association.
And it's in Barcelona, you mean?
I'm not sure if it's where it's located, but
that stinks of match fixing and all things like that, isn't it? No.
Well, yeah, that's what that would be the implication because they've basically during their investigation into Barcelona, that's where they've come.
Evidence be at headquarters of the referee. It'd be pretty stupid to keep it there, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, unless
on hard drives or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the other option, I suppose, is if they had a warrant for an arrest or something like that, they would raid it, wouldn't they? I guess. But it's shady, mate, isn't it? At the end of the day, they did their investigation.
Does it?
No, it does not. And but then people have been saying, I got there's a couple of Spanish guys on my Twitter who were saying years ago that like Barcelona are almost quite open with it, like how corrupt they are with the referees. Like that's got to be
mate.
Surely they can't get away with that. Sure, like if that's the case, surely not.
You would think that, wouldn't you? But you know, these big massive clubs. Yeah.
Well, like it's weird, isn't it? Right? You got United
as well, but Italians, it was obviously blatant and they were careless. But we'd think that Barcelona would be more diligent, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Maybe they thought they were above it, mate. You know, like
wait and see.
Can't be touched. Do you know what's interesting to me is you got clubs like Manchester United and others getting fined, not great amounts, but like they're getting fined for not, you know, sticking to financial fair play diligently. And then you've got Manchester City, you've got like 100 and something charges against them, and there still doesn't seem to be any sign of any sort of semblance of, you know, a conclusion.
Stealing my word there, you.
Well, there's no conclusion to it, is there? It's just never ending.
And will there ever be? You know, will it just peter out, or are we going to get an actual conclusion and what's gone on and got to the bottom of it? Or is it just speculation? You know,
well, it's they've got the charges, haven't they?
Guilty before we find out what's going on. It's just like weird. What's going on? What's changed? It's innocent before proven guilty. So we'll just find out what's going on. See. I think at the minute we're just speculating, aren't we?
Yeah, of course. And I think ultimately everyone should learn a lesson from the Mendy case, where everyone was slating him, as including me, was slating him for all these things that he had supposedly done, and you know, when he went to court, he was found he wasn't just dropped, he got found not guilty. So maybe in all cases people should wait until it gets to court and gets resolved before we start.
This is why we have a court system, not a social media public opinion. That's not how it works, because most people on Twitter with no profile are in the mum's box room banging one out. So you just got to take it with a pinch of salt, mate, because it's social media, and it just drives everyone. Everyone's got an opinion. You know, podcasts like us like talking about it. So yeah, it's not good. It's not good, is it? But
it's not a great look.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, and unfortunately, mate, I don't think people have got confidence that with those 100 charges there will be a conclusion. I think most people are expecting it to kind of just drag on and on and on, and then kind of just disappear in some form. But a couple of interesting comments on the on the Liverpool sale thing. Reece says loss of revenue from no Champions League football this year. Spending's gone up. Obviously, they bought a new midfield. It seems like, you know, they'd have to get a bit of investment, I guess, to cover that. Also, a few other comments. Where's that one gone? So, look, Barcelona owe $1 billion, right, in debt and stuff, and they still tried to sign Messi when he was available in the summer. They couldn't re-sign him due to the budget, and then they still spent millions of pounds on new players, but no one seems to give a shit.
And a new ground.
Yeah, but they don't seem to get fined for financial fair play like the Premier League clubs do. It's weird, mate. It is really weird.
Hold them brown envelopes. You must be able to fit euros in better than pounds.
Here's a suggestion. Reece says, how about you just don't, no names are released until the end of court cases. So you have an accused and the person who's charged, or the company which is charged, or the club that's charged, whatever it may be. How about it's all sealed until the court case is done?
Yeah, but you've got to look at Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
He's guilty, isn't he? Like,
he's guilty. YouTube took him off. Everyone else took him off. except for Rumble and obviously Twitter, because they've got big balls, and then they trust the justice system, and then after that they'll make an opinion, which is the right way. But yeah,
like I said the other day on the member show, was that say Russell Brand, right? Say he goes to court and he gets a not guilty, YouTube won't remonetize his channel.
Go like that to YouTube.
But all these people who dropped him, like I think he got Great British Bake Off, all the different things which have dropped him before he's been proven guilty or innocent. They won't take him back if he gets a not guilty. So he's lost all that stuff anyway. And he's not the only one, you know. It's a never-ending thing, isn't it? So trial by social media.
It's what instead of killing people, it's character assassination. That's all it is. Yeah. It's classic character assassination. It's just crazy how they just do it in the open now. And how easy it is behind closed doors, and now they just do it in the open. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, it is very, very strange, mate, how it's so open, like you say. So, right, let's have a look. I want to read this Barcelona thing quickly. Spanish police raid referees' offices as part of the corruption investigation. Spanish police raided the office of a referees committee as part of the investigation into Barcelona's alleged corrupt payments to officials. Barcelona faced charges of corruption over payments made to Jose Maria Enriquez Negreira, who's the former vice president of the referees committee, for favourable refereeing decisions. UEFA is investigating the matter. Barcelona say there was no wrongdoing. There currently has been no arrests made during the search, which took place in Madrid. That's like full. So it's alleged. There's some more details. It's alleged Barcelona paid 8.4 million euros to the Negreira, who's was the vice president of the Referees Association, to his a company that he set up. The payments were initially investigated as part of a tax probe, which was run on the company, and then led to Barcelona, where there were several payments ranging from 1.4 million to up to 7 million between 2001 and 2018, which is the year he left his role. So that is when Pep was there. That covers that time, doesn't it? When did he go to Man City? 2017?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
There you go. So, if that's the case, like Barcelona,
it's not to do with coaches, is it? I was just being.
No. I know. But
the coaches, is it? It's all. Yeah.
But what I mean is, like,
it's not good.
And relegated.
Like 15 minutes talking about it. So
yeah, let's talk about some football. Newcastle United, mate. What a week for them. 8-0 to Sheffield United, and then they sent Man City out of the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup, the Coca-Cola Cup, the Milk Cup, the Rumbelows Cup. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? I was a big fan. Coca-Cola Cup.
Well, mine was. What was it?
The Milk Cup.
No. It was because remember when our kid got man of the match, the Rumbelows Cup.
Did he tell me he got a washing machine?
No, he got a TV.
Oh.
But it was like a small, like TV you put in your bedroom in the 80s, small one.
Yeah.
Or 90s. 90s.
Yeah, 90s.
It was one of them. It was minging.
Just on that, I knew
they had like. Sorry to interrupt. They give it like while they're giving the speech at the end. You know, they give them your trophy. Oh, where's your man of the match trophy? It's not a TV. They go there and go, and that's what walk off with it. Fucking big TV.
I seen a clip the other day where this. Who was it? It was Ashley Williams and someone. I think it was Stephen Housen. They were doing like the weirdest man of the match prizes over all the different things. And you had like this guy had like a BMX given to him in the non-league. Some of them had like it was some wild stuff like a pizza. Just all this weird stuff.
I got a brand new Toyota Sleeker for man of the match. Remember?
Oh, mate. See, when
I played the World Championship in Japan or wherever it was, you got man of the match and you got given a Toyota Sleeker. You give it me. I was driving about the brand new Total Sleeker for a few years.
I bet there's been some weird ones. I said someone had like a voucher for B&Q for like 50 quid and all this weird shit. Like.
It's a funny story about that. He's saying, this is how fucking tight he is, right? So he's been given man the match and he's gone up to give him the prize. And he's gone, right, what do you want? You can either have the money or the car. He's gone, all right, yeah, I'll have the money. And the guy's gone, what? As if to say, shots. And he's gone, no, I'm only joking, I want the car, because he's seen his face. This is how tight the fucker is. He wanted the dough. Yeah, I'll have the yen or whatever it is.
Money, mate.
I want the car, the brand new car. I'll take the dough, mate.
Tight,
and the guy was like, what? Oh, no,
you can't get it on then.
You're beat the car.
I knew I'd remembered right. So Pep in 2001, when he was playing in Italy for Brescia, tested positive for nandrolone, and then he appealed it later, and it was reduced to a fine instead of a ban. I knew I hadn't imagined it. Like, so Joe Laidlaw's in the chat, who's one of the boys who plays in my son's team. So he's a Newcastle fan. So I will talk about Newcastle just for him. So Saturday, mate, 8-0 against Sheffield United. That is a bit of a molly-whopping, that, isn't it? You ain't going to get much more of a spanking than that. Sheffield United are going down, aren't they? Fast at this rate.
Yeah. Rapido. Them and Luton on the A train out of it. Both of them.
Do you know who's impressing me for Newcastle mind is I know look that 8-0 is like it's difficult to pick players out because Sheffield United are terrible, Newcastle are good. But I thought he was excellent against Man City yesterday as well. Was Isaac? He looks a real player, mate. He does.
Yeah, that's why he's in the FPL team. Yeah, they're a good team, and what gets me about them, they're very professional. That means that he's got them. Everyone's at it. If you play well, you're in, and then it's one of them. So yeah, that's a good surrounding to be in. That knowing where you're at. You know, if you play well, you're gonna stay in. But you know, he might take you out for a little bit of rest. But he seems to give you good information, Eddie Allen. He seems to be a good coach, like a player's coach. So, and obviously a technical one as well. So it looks good. It looks good there. Even though they've had a tough start. Not very good results. They've started to turn it around a little bit now. It was a good result from yesterday. Even though City didn't have the strongest team out, still they had some very good players out.
Jack Grealish played, mate.
Jack Grealish played, the right back who come in to mark him, hadn't played much and did a very good job. You can see Kieran Trippier's keeping him out, so he'll be keeping. That's why Kieran Trippier's playing so well, because he knows if he comes in, he'll lose his spot as well. So that's what you've got behind you. That makes for a good team.
Competition for places, mate.
Yeah. Healthy competition, yeah.
It seems weird to say on the back of an 8-0 win, but I do worry that Callum Wilson always seems to be carrying some sort of knock or being patched up. And I worry that later into the season where the goals will come from on a regular basis. Because Callum Wilson is wicked. If you can play every game, then he'll score goals, and then you've got Isaac and Joe Linton and people like this who are going to chip in. But I just think they don't seem to. Maybe I'm not familiar enough with their squad, but they don't seem to have another out-and-out number 9. So I do wonder about that side of things. But it's when they got the Champions League and they've got the all these different competitions. But Anthony Gordon stepped up, mate. He looks like he's starting to show why he's a £40 million player. And
looks good. A.C.E. Very direct.
Works hard, mate, as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
I tell you who I've been really impressed with him is that the fullback they signed from Southampton, I can't remember what his name is, Livramento. He looks...
Yeah, that's what I'm just talking about.
That's what right. Okay, yeah. Oh, so I thought he was a left back. Okay, yeah.
He's right back. He was marking Grealish.
Right,
good man of the match.
But you're right about.
Come on, mate. Do research.
Well, mate, I'm just.
He's been out. He's only played 5 games, but he's been there for about a year and a bit. But he's been injured. But obviously, Kieran Trippier's keeping him out. But this is, I think, he looks a very good player to keep Grealish quiet, and you're not playing a lot of games. That's...
Well, yeah, and the thing is with Grealish has been playing regular, isn't it? It's not like he was rusty or whatever. Like he's been playing week in, week out.
He hasn't been playing regularly, has he? He's been dipping in and out. Foden's been playing more than him, really.
But he plays 20 minutes.
I know what you mean, yeah. He's been playing more than this kid who's been out for a long time.
Yeah. But like, same as with, I think it's interesting. Like Trippier, I think, is responding to that competition, similar to how Luke Shaw does. When he knows he's playing every week, I think he doesn't go through the motions, but he's got that extra gear when he's got competition for places. And Kieran Trippier, mate, is fantasy football dream. He just gets loads of points, loads of assists. Quality player, mate. Who else impressed me on the weekend? I thought Brighton again, mate. Just looked so. I know they. I think they lost yesterday, didn't they? But like in the league, Brighton really impressed me, mate. Just the way they go about their business. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows their job.
It looks like it was in the radius. Real Madrid are sniffing, so you'd probably see Carlo Ancelotti leaving at the end of the season, and him taking over if he carries on the way he carries on. It's
interesting, isn't it? Because Xavi Alonso has been heavily linked with it, and then De Zerbi's been linked with it today. If Brighton carry on the way they're playing, do you think? Well, would he go? Surely he would go.
Well, if he gets in the top 4, 100% he will. But even though he'll be in the Champions League, Real Madrid come knocking, you going. So yeah, 100%. He's destined for good things in me. He's a really good coach to come in and to make Brighton even better than they were before Graham Potter was there. Is no mean feat, because now they're dominating teams. They come to Old Trafford, dominated Manchester United, even though they're in a bit of turmoil, but they dominated other teams as well. So yeah, the things are on the up there, and the players that they've got, you look at them on paper a year and a half ago, and they're all right, solid Premier League side. Now they're March, Gross, Matoma, Welbeck, Dunn. Goes. You can go through it. So they've got a really good team.
They lost their whole midfield in the summer, mate, and they haven't haven't missed a step.
So that's good coaching, but good recruitment as well. Because they've lost Caicedo, they've lost McAllister. There's 2 very influential players, but they've gained 160 million quid and not skipped a beat.
And on Saturday against Bournemouth, Matoma was on the bench, Pedro was on the bench, Fati was on the bench.
Yeah, but come on, Matoma, what's happening? He's come on and scored a brace.
But that's what I mean. They're able to put those players on the bench, and still the players who come in, they know their roles. Yeah.
Again, it's probably the same we're talking about Newcastle. There's a good environment around there. It's healthy competition. If you play well, you stay in. So.
Billy Gilmore's been playing well from him in the centre of midfield.
And I think it's good football. He can dictate the play. He's very good on the ball. Like I say, he can dictate the play. Can get about okay as well. He's not the quickest of players, but he's not a slug by no means. So yeah, he's a good player, mate. Really good player.
On the Madrid thing, Ancelotti leaves in the summer. Who would you pick out of Xavi Alonso and De Zerbi if you were picking Madrid?
De Zerbi. But that's because I've seen more of De Zerbi. I watched a bit of Xavi Alonso. Who was they playing? I was watching it recently. Oh, they was playing Bayern Munich. Yeah, they were playing Bayern Munich.
He's Leverkusen in there. Is it Leverkusen?
Yeah, Leverkusen, yeah.
Is that where he is?
Bayern Munich, so he's doing something right there. But yeah, I just like the look of his De Zerbi. He's a really good coach.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because my worry if I'm him and going to Madrid is if things don't go well immediately, the fans turn, the club just get rid of you. Like, would you?
Mate, that's the risk you're going to take. You don't want to turn down Real Madrid because you spend the rest of your life thinking, "What if?"
I think it's one of them clubs, isn't it?
Yeah, you do it. I know what you're saying, but You don't turn down Real Madrid, mate. Oh, I'm not ready, or scared of what the fans will think. These people don't have that kind of mindset.
But then you say that as well, mate. Right? Is De Zerbi has not missed a beat. He came in at Brighton and is just like he's been there for years.
Yep.
Where do you? Reese has got a question. Which club do you think will snap up Ancelotti? I think Everton.
How old is he now? 70 odd.
He's got to be 70 odd. He's still doing a good job, though. I think Everton will go back for him.
Probably go back home, won't he, somewhere in Italy?
Yeah, I mean that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Oh, it might maybe Saudi Arabia. Go and get himself a few quid over there.
Yeah. Well, who would begrudge him that at 70?
Yeah, exactly.
Going in a few quid. Not that he's short of.
Unrest up, mate. Won the Champions League as a player and as a manager. Relax, chill out.
Just done everything, hasn't he? So let's talk about your boys for a bit. I don't want to spend too much time on Jadon Sancho because I think he's done. I got to be honest. If you was him, I think he leaves United in January. But if you were him, would you apologise? So apparently the hold-up is he's willing to apologise, but his representatives don't want United to put out a statement saying Jadon Sancho's apologised to the manager and now they're going to move on. So basically, he doesn't want the apology to be acknowledged by the club, which seems ridiculous to me. But if you were him, would you just apologise, even if you didn't mean it, just to get on with it?
Thank you, advisors, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he needs to play, doesn't he?
You're an advisor for. I know you're a footballer. You might be stupid, but come on, you can still make your own decisions in life and be a man instead of just put it to bed. It's like two children. It's pissing me off now. It's boring, mate. It's boring. You're not even good enough to be going on about it. So it needs to be put to bed. Things like this drag out. We're talking about it.
It's painful, mate, isn't it?
Mate.
Then I'll ask you one question on it, right? You've had your fair share of arguments over the years. You've may fallen out with people.
You have an argument, you get it out and done with, and then you shake your hands and you get on with it. If you like someone, then you'll get on with them. You like them. If you don't, then you stay away from them. But you put it to bed. You don't let it linger. That's just drama. Put it to bed and move on very quickly. Otherwise, this is what happens. Like two birds going at each other, like episode of that flipping that housewife crap. Yeah. Every time I turn on, it's just birds going. Oh, forget it.
Loose women, isn't it?
Like no. Then the housewives of Cheshire, housewives of the flipping in Orange County or whatever. All these things, these birds watch. Don't watch it. You know, every time I go past or hear it, it's all blathered, chatting crap to each other. This is what this is becoming now. Oh, he's not going to do this because oh, please, come on.
Yeah, mate, the weirdest thing about it to me is that if he had just shut his mouth, he'd be playing now because they haven't got any right wingers. But to me, he needs to just apologise and fucking move on because he's just wasting his career at this point. I don't want to talk about that side of things, although Dimitar Berbatov says he thinks Jadon Sancho is overestimating his importance to Manchester United in terms of he thinks that they're so desperate for him to play that they'll bend over backwards for him. Do you agree with that?
Probably.
I think
all these modern-day players are. Everything revolves around them, don't they? You look at him; he's supposed to be not really a nice kid, but that's what you go off. But you can't. How can you go off that? I don't know him, so how can I judge him? I don't know him personally, so how can I judge him? But the way he's acting, the way he's going on with himself, mate. If you're gonna write something on Twitter, don't take it down. Don't be a pussy and take it down. Keep it up. Or why? If you took it down, why the fuck did you write it? Yeah, because what to make what? And now he's lost his bottom, took it down.
And if you've taken it down, if he's taken it down, apologise and get back to playing football.
Exactly.
Don't take it down.
So obviously you feel something about it, or you'd have kept it up. No, you've lost your bottle. You took it down. Now apologise and move on. Yeah.
On the Burnley game first, who impressed you? What do you think was good? Like, what was different about it? I think Hannibal made a massive difference.
Result. Boring game. Result.
It was just a result, wasn't it?
Clean sheet. Result. Good feel factor and going to the next week. not getting overexcited, mate. It was boring.
Yeah. I thought
it was on a WhatsApp group, people at work, and we were on the laugh at work. About the next minute, 75th minute, I hardly watched any of the game. I was more bothered about having a laugh and a joke on WhatsApp group than watching football because it was boring. So there's no kind of play. There's no philosophy. It's just it's all over the place at the minute. But
is that just because they've got so many players out?
We've got like 10 players out. Amrabat looked good though, and the boy Hoyland's coming on. So there's some positives.
I think if you look at the Palace game as well, I watched the Palace game, and suddenly with Amrabat in there, Mount in there, Hannibal, Martial looked fit for a change. They suddenly did have patterns of play. They suddenly did have movement off the ball, which to me says that's because for the first few games, it's been very stopgappy. Johnny Evans here, Amrabat at left back, just people fitting in where they can get them.
There's been a lot of injuries, a lot of different teams. It's difficult. That's why you don't get a very good games, because they're not played together, so you don't get no cohesion or some fluidity with the play, and it's just like a bit bitty and scrappy and
I thought Amrabat looked everything which I thought he was going to be.
That's what I'm saying. When we get our full team, then we can see it, but we haven't had that yet.
Do you know
Anthony, possibly Anthony on the right, Rashford on the left, even though Rashford's terrible at the minute.
Right.
So selfish. It's just all for him. He never looks up for when there's a better pass online. It's always tunnel vision. He's winding me up at the minute. I play Garnacho on the left. Get Rashford. I get him on the bench actually. Garnacho on the left. Anthony, Casemiro, Amrabat, Bruno, Hoyland.
Twice against Burnley towards the end of the game, Rashford broke down the left, and he could have played in once. I think it was Casemiro. He would have had the whole goal to aim at, no one around him, and then Hoyland as well. And it's like you could have put the game to bed for your team.
Selfish. So, and it's okay being selfish, but you got like Ruud van Nistelrooy was selfish. He scored 30 goals this season.
Yeah,
that's all. When he's selfish, he scored.
Well, this is why no one criticised Rashford last year.
He runs down hills and just shrugs his shoulders and does that daft walk he does. It winds me up. Doesn't run enough, and for an academy player, I find that shocking. Because it's ingrained in him. So I find
look at Hannibal, mate. Look at the miles.
I just find it shocking the way he walks about sometimes, and he don't work for his team. It's just not the Man United way, and he's ingrained in. He's been there since he's 7. And it pisses me off when I see it every week.
Yeah, I thought Mason Mount played it quite good in the first half against Palace. He only had, obviously he's coming back.
Mate, I didn't really watch much of it. It was
the
on
Palace game. They played well, mate, and I got to say, Palace weren't great, and both teams rotated. But what interested me is no Rashford and no Bruno played. They didn't use them, and I thought United's patterns of play looked better. But I also thought Garnacho, Martial, Mount, they all look better without Bruno and Rashford. The team looked better. Now, I'm not saying that.
What do you say about Bruno? He's the best player on the team.
Well, I would play Bruno at 10, and I'd play Mount off the right. I would, mate, at the moment.
Yeah. I would forget Anthony and put Mason Mount on there next to it. See him out next. That's his best position. And put Garnacho on the left, Hoyland up front. Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno, Wan-Bissaka, whatever one.
And the thing is, against the big,
that's probably the strongest. It's not the strongest team. That's the team I'll go with.
Yeah, and I think against the big teams, Mount off the right is perfect to make it difficult for those teams to play as well. Interestingly, I think Amrabat will lead to Casemiro playing a slightly different role. I think Casemiro is going to become more of a kind of box to box. He still play from deep, but I think you'll see him getting forward. He's obviously scored a few goals already this year. But I think Amrabat will free him up a little bit, and we might see a slightly different Casemiro. But a few comments which are making me laugh in the chat. Roy Keane would make Sancho cry like a little bitch, asking for forgiveness in the corner. from Rob. But you could also add Rio, Fred, Vidic, Evra. None of them would put up with it. So Reece says, let's say Sancho is still being late at United for training and stuff like that. Who's the leader?
Let's how weak the dressing room is.
Yeah, that's the question.
People get late.
He says, who's the leaders in there? The real leaders at the club. Why isn't one of his teammates grabbing him by the neck and saying, buck up or buck off?
They might have. They might have. You just don't know. This is what I mean. We don't know the specifics. So we're just, like, again, speculating. But it doesn't look good.
United have 3 or 4 winnable games on the bounce now. Like, they play Palace again at home on Saturday. Then they play Galatasaray at home. Brentford at home is probably a tough one. And then Sheffield United at home. And then Copenhagen at home.
You said to me
Sheffield United away
versus Brentford at home is going to be a tough game. And I said, what are you on?
It's mad, isn't it? But it will be. It's out of all those games, I think Galatasaray and Brentford are the hardest games. But they're all at home except Sheffield United away.
Galatasaray got some good players.
Yeah.
It will be easy.
Haven't they got Zaha and a few others?
Mate, they have some good players.
A home game, mate. United should be winning their home games.
Yeah, still should be winning at home. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but at the minute, it's not been the case, mate. We was 2-0 down at home, Nottingham Forest. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
So Reece says the closest thing United have had to a real leader in recent years is Cavani. Interesting.
Cavani.
I'm trying to think who's been I think Onana looks like a guy who.
Cristiano Ronaldo's been a good leader for Portugal the last few years. So
yeah, but when he came to United, was he a good leader? Like when he came second round, I would argue.
Because he wanted excellence and he wasn't seeing it around him. That's why he was a good.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I could see that.
He even said it in his interview. People around him, he was trying to give advice and they just ignored it. That's the greatest person. They just think they know better.
Yeah.
So
Can you imagine that?
He's learned from being in the change room what he's seen when he was there.
Players
learned to him. So he was just passing that down and keeping that tradition, and they fucking ignored him.
That's like, right, if me and Joe Rogan had a conversation and he tried to give me some advice about podcasting, and I went, yeah, you're right, Joe, I know what I'm doing. Like, thanks, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like biggest, best, whatever in the world, and they're just sacking him off. I disagree with this narrative from the media and the pundits that Bruno Fernandes isn't a good leader. I think he's just a bit emotional and he comes across as petulant sometimes. But actually, I've seen him quite a lot of times do things for the team. He sacrifices himself for the team. He works hard. I've seen him. Yeah. He gave his Man of the Match award only last week. He gave it to Johnny Evans because he thought Johnny Evans deserved it. Like little things like that go a long way.
He is a leader, but sometimes he let himself down by his waving his arms or it's petulant. That's only because he cares, But
But how can you say that Ronaldo's a good leader, but Bruno's petulant?
What do you mean?
Because all right, they both got stats wise.
He's constantly arguing with the referee, constantly whinging at every decision.
Yeah, but Ronaldo does that as well.
No, not every decision, waving his arms up. He doesn't, mate. He doesn't. I watch United. I don't. He doesn't. If a teammate doesn't pass to him, it's just, but they're both petulant. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they both, I've just said, they're both leaders, but are they good ones? I don't know, but they are leaders.
Yeah, there's different ways to lead as well. You can lead by example as opposed to being like a Roy Keane or someone who's like shouting. And I think modern day football is different as well. If you look around, not just Man United, everywhere.
It wasn't all about shouting. It was just, he didn't say abuse around the training ground, or it was all about match days. And it was that he demanded excellence. If you didn't get it, you'd have him in your face. That's a leader.
But I'd say your brother, when he was in his pomp at United, was a leader. He led by example.
Yes, exactly. He wouldn't shout and scream. He'd run his bollocks off. He'd do everything that asked about him. Different leaders, like David Beckham, would do the same, but then he would be more vocal. You'd see that in England. And you get your Tony Adamses, your John Terrys. You're born leaders.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand why people say like Bruno moans a bit and this and that. I just disagree that the particular pundits try and paint this picture that he's like this dive-in, moaning, like he doesn't work hard. Danny Murphy saying he doesn't do any defensive work, and it's like he's the only midfielder apart from Casemiro who runs back and tries to get. You've got Scott McTominay who's on the pitch to defend, fucking jogging, watching Bayern Munich players run by him.
I like Danny Murphy; he's a good pundit. But
I do too. But
Bruno Fernandes runs more than in a half than he did in a whole match.
Scott McTominay's been a disgrace in those couple of games, man. Fucking hell. So I do think that football obviously has changed in modern day, and I think when you look at Arsenal, Odegaard's the captain, but he's not a screamer and a shouter. Like footballers lead differently, don't they?
That's another one by his play, by his organisation. He might go about it a quiet way. Yeah. You know,
being on time for training.
There is good examples of that, yeah. You know, like a Matty Holland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Just players who the way they carry themselves.
A proper club man. You know, does everything by the book. Very good player, and people admire that and follow it.
Yeah, 100%. I am trying to think who else I think is like a good leader in the modern game. Van Dijk, I think, is a good leader. I don't think he's that great a defender. I don't think he's as good as everyone says.
I don't look at Van Dijk and see a leader.
Do you not?
No.
I think he goes missing sometimes in big moments and blames other people.
No, Steven Gerrard, there's a leader.
But then...
Graham Souness, there's a leader.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But,
you know what I mean?
But then, mate...
Virgil van Dijk, I'm a laugh.
But then Steven Gerrard, mate, I still stand by. I don't think Steven Gerrard is as good a footballer technically as he's made out. I think he's an excellent footballer. Don't get me wrong. You've got
a footballer that can do the lot.
I just don't think he's not up there with a Paul Scholes or a technically I'm on about. Frank Lampard.
I totally disagree. He could do everything. He could do a 60-yard ball, ping it. He could do grass cutters. He could run. He can head. He could tackle.
Passion merchant with a good shot.
He could do everything. You can play him in any position, and he'd shine. I believe
a passion merchant with a good shot.
He's always better than that.
I'd say it a little bit in jest, mate, but I do think sometimes when I hear these people
he's
going,
a perfect midfielder. He's got everything.
Would you have played him? So let's look at it this way then, right? For England, for all them years, they played Gerrard and Lampard over Scholes in the middle and made Scholes either not play or play on the left.
People forget that Scholes played a lot of games for Man United on the left, coming in and joining in, and that's what he did for England. People seem to forget that he did that a lot for Man United, and he did it a lot for England. Now,
I'm asking, would you have played those two in the middle instead of playing him more centrally?
Well, no, I'd have played free. Play it as a free.
I still think it's remarkable.
But in them days, it was 4-4-2, wasn't it? So that's why. But now, 4-3-3, all three of them are being, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would love it in that system now with the two and...
Exactly, because Paul Scholes and Steven Gerrard could both doing that sitting role and one of them bouncing on. And just,
well, you say that, but they never able...
Lampard does and score goals, bombing on.
Yeah, I mean, you say that one of them would sit in this, but they never did it, did they, in a 4-4-2? They were never able to... One of them sit and one of them go.
Steven Gerrard, at the end of his career, like he was when he started playing that position, he was more gun-ho, where he was more disciplined when he'd had more technical managers with Benitez or Rodgers or Houllier. They would, he slowly learned the game, and as he got older, he went back in that deeper role. Same with Paul Scholes. People forget with Paul Scholes with a 20-goal season, man. He was a fucking midfielder that bombed on and got goals. But later on in his career, he only dropped back and become that quarterback, and the way we know Paul Scholes, but Only good players can do that. Look at our kid playing left wing, and how many left wingers then going to could be a central midfielder for 10 years. And there's only the person I can think who did that was like John Barnes. So you don't be special players to do stuff like that and change your game or can play in different positions. When Steve Jones went to right back, he was brilliant. When he had to do a job there. So I don't think Paul Scholes could do that. Play left back, play right back. I'm sure he'd be okay. But pace one was great. Even though he was nippy when he was younger because he was small. He was nippy, but as he got older, he wasn't slow, but he wasn't a quick midfielder.
Paul Scholes is one of the most gifted footballers I've ever seen play football, mate. It's just unbelievable. And I think as the years go by since he's retired, I think he gets a lot of disrespect when he's put up in these conversations against other midfielders. And I just think, like, you listen to some of the Spanish players talk about Paul Scholes, who played against him, and Zidane and people like this, some of the real greats of the game, and you ask them or you listen to them talk about Paul Scholes, and that tells me everything I need to know about what type of how good he was, should I say. But I don't know how we got onto that. But anyway, Reese says modern day Paul Scholes would probably be a captain. He's quiet, wouldn't follow him into battle, but plays well. That's not a real leader. See, I disagree, mate. Paul Scholes was quite nasty, and he was quiet, but he was aggressive, and he would go and win the ball and he would get stuck in. I think he was as much a warrior as some of these midfielders, but just was a bit quieter about it verbally. Like, he was so aggressive. Some of the tackles that he put in were outrageous, but he got away with it because he was quiet and he wasn't.
Top players, mate. Top players. This is why I look around. There's not players like these anymore. Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard. Where? Show me. So, who's
the most underrated player you think? I'm talking since you've been watching football, who do you think is like an underrated
Michael
player?
Carrick's up there, Michael Carrick. I was surprised when he come out how good he was.
I thought the latter end of Michael Carrick's career at Manchester United, he was phenomenal. And people England, the pundits, the England national team, people just didn't seem to recognise it. And they're winning trophies, and he was vital to how they played. They couldn't have done it without him in the system. And he's just constantly ignored by England. No one really talked about him. Thought he was really, really good. He was clever signing by Fergie.
If these players are about now, they would play in totally different positions.
Who else then? Underrated. Reese says David Beckham for me. Left United.
I was just going to say David Beckham because he wouldn't be a right winger if he was around now. He would have been a midfielder with his passing and.
Well, he played centrally, didn't he, for Milan and Madrid? He played centrally
as a kid as well. So he wasn't a right winger. He was a midfielder, but obviously he got put out there. But yeah,
he was quality, mate. That free kick against Greece to qualify for the World Cup, I think it was, in the 95th minute, where he's got to score this free kick or England and don't qualify. The pressure on that to be able to put a pinpoint free kick and scoring from the halfway line, he was such a good footballer. And people, I think, almost write it off as he was a celebrity, married to a Spice Girl. He was a quality footballer. The passing from one side of the pitch to the other, on a sixpence, mate, was sensational.
Yeah, he's
trying to think who else.
Dennis Irwin, very good player.
One of the best left backs.
That's what I mean when people say that Daft City fans say, Fergie had a big check, but he brought these players in for $100,000 from Oldham, Peter Schmeichel, Andrei Kanchelskis. These players were peanuts, and he molded them into top players. Later on when he played for Roy Keane and Andy Cole and stuff like that. But you get these City fans who deluded, proper deluded.
Yeah, who did Beckham play for in total? PSG, Madrid, Milan,
LA Galaxy,
United, LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
There's feel like there's one more, but I can't think of what it is. But I mean, that is a list of clubs, isn't it? You know, England. Yeah. Who else is underrated? Let me think quickly. Ian Wright. Think he's underrated.
Ian Wright's quality. He's never underrated. Quality.
Who else was underrated? Teddy Sheringham. Quality football.
All these players were underrated, man. He's top players.
I'm trying to
England as well. SAS, Shearer, and Sheringham.
Yeah, Euro 96, wasn't it?
Yeah, top players. So
is there a left back? If you were making an all-time Premier League 11, is there a left back that you would take over Dennis Irwin?
Ashley Cole.
Interesting, because Dennis, I know how highly you rate Dennis Irwin, but Ashley
would I play him instead of?
Yeah,
Dennis
who would you?
Irwin?
Is there a left back that you would pick ahead of Dennis Irwin?
No.
Not even Ashley Cole.
No. Ashley Cole didn't score any goals. Dennis would get me 10 goals a season.
Yeah,
how good his free kicks were. Took penalties. Come on.
Peter Whittingham, a vastly underrated footballer. He should have played like hundreds of Premier League games. He should have. Too loyal for his own good. Who else we got? What about Gary Pallister?
There's a lot of players that are overrated, like King Clancy, Bernabeu, all these.
Tell you who I think's overrated is
terrible players. Terrible.
Tino Asprilla. The only reason people liked him because he had, he's good, but like he's not like on that like elite level. Who's the one who scored for Newcastle and was like booting the
Kit Spire?
Was it Kit Spire?
Kit Spire,
yeah. He was a bit overrated. Who else we got who's overrated? Jamie Carragher. You shitty ass.
No, come on. To play over 500 games for Liverpool, the greatest club.
I'm only playing.
Even I would do. He played centre half, left back, right back.
Yeah, look, the only reason he didn't play more for England was because of who he had in front of him, wasn't it? Sibieski, that's who it was. What about Wilfred Zaha? Where do you think he stands now? Where
I don't think he's overrated. He's just one of them players that's had luck and just went to United at the wrong time.
Do you think when he was at United, if they'd been patient with him, like they're being with Anthony, for instance, and they'd let him play week in, week out and just been patient, do you think he would have come off for United? Because I think he's got the ability, see.
He's obviously got the ability, but you got to have a right mental capacity to be at a club like that at the age of his. And he was a bit immature by the sounds of it. So,
there was all sorts of rumours.
The ability was there, but you've got to be mentally right to play for these teams, like I say. And he wasn't mentally right, and obviously made some mistakes, and then they got rid of him. So. Underrated? No, he's a good player, very good player.
He's coming to the end of his career now, and he's he's in the latter stages. He's about 30 odd. I just wondered where. If you
should have got Arsenal, shouldn't we? When they bought Pepe, it was rumored they were going to get Zaha. That's when they should have got him. They could have paid an extra 10 million, got Zaha, and that would have been a very good signing for him. Now that Pepe signing turned out 72 million quid. Terrible player.
Is he still there?
Pardon?
Is he still there, or did they get rid of him?
He's a terrible player. Oh, terrible. That's what happens when you get money. Look at City when they had a load of money, bought some terrible players.
They bought some shit, didn't they? When they first got the money, Robinho.
Probably done it illegally as well, like they do. So yeah, terrible.
Who's your favourite Italian player, like of all time?
Oh, Italian player, Roberto Baggio.
I was going to say him, but I like.
Del Piero. He was decent as well. Del Piero.
I like Maldini, mate. I love him.
And I go back far, like Paolo Rossi. Remember him?
Yes, mate. Oh, yes.
Paolo Rossi, 1986, 1990. Or Scalacci.
Costa Curta.
Maldini's loads. You go on and on. Maldini.
Well, who was the Italian keeper? Baresi, yes. Who was the Italian keeper way back, like around maybe just after like the Paolo Rossi era? And he's got that really famous look. Oh, it's going to bug me, that is. Italian keeper.
Buffon?
No, way before him. Who else? Who else do I like from Italy? Oh, obviously, Balotelli, all-time great, isn't he? Do you think he's a good player, Balotelli?
Another bad City player. Terrible.
I do. Terrible.
He was talented. Like I say, mate, he wasn't mentally right. He's driving around in cars with
setting fireworks off in his bathroom.
Yeah, he was potty in.
He was. He's mental, isn't he? Zola, mate. Yeah, Zola.
What?
Zola.
What
a player.
You can go on and on, mate. Italians, you go on and on.
Yeah, Di Canio was a special. I think he was like, he never went to like a big club, did he? Di Canio. I think I don't know where he went in Italy, but like I don't remember him going to like a a Milan or a Madrid or
something like that. He was at Celtic for a bit, wasn't he? And then he went to West Ham, and then
I don't know where he went after that.
No.
All right, then. What about Dutch players? I'm enjoying this now.
Mate,
Van Basten's got to be up there, isn't he?
Van Basten, Cruyff, Hullet, Rijkaard, Koeman.
Oh yes, Ronald Koeman's free kicks.
Van Basten,
Hullet.
Player. Yeah.
Snyder.
Van Persie.
Yeah, Schneider. Van Persie, mate. Van Persie's finishing was about as good, and Van Nistelrooy. Both of them, like
there's one.
He was a player.
Is some play for someone in Bournemouth?
I think it's his son, isn't it?
All right.
You got Cannavaro as well from Italy. Clarence Seedorf. Now that he was a player, man.
Clarence Seedorf.
Edgar Davids. Yeah. Do you know I forgot what I was going to say now. Fuck's sake. All right. Yeah. All right then. Very last one.
Go on. Last one.
Spanish players, mate. While I get my
all day. Raul.
All right, give me a Spanish player that's vastly overrated, who everyone thinks is amazing. Come on, there's got to be a few of them because everyone thinks that they're just like superb and this like thing. There's got to be a few overrated Spaniards around, isn't there?
The defender who was with us and he went to Barcelona because he was in such a good team.
Gerard Piqué.
Piqué, yeah.
Never thought he was good, did you?
Well, he was good, right, but you've got a team like that who don't give the ball away. You don't have to do anything.
What about do you know who's I think the greatest Spanish player of all time is that striker who nearly went to United and then ended up at Chelsea a couple of years back. What was his name?
No, he went
from Madrid. Yeah, he was. What's his name? Morata. Oh, Rob was just saying that he is the greatest footballer of all time.
He went to Liverpool.
He went to Chelsea. No, he went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
He was absolute shite.
But he scored goals in the Italian
scored goals
league.
In Madrid, yeah, and in Madrid.
Yeah.
Do you know we all know who the best player in the world is, mate, at this current moment? Anyway, don't we? It's the lad who signed for Arsenal this summer from Chelsea.
Who?
What's his name? Forgot his bloody name. 60-odd million from Chelsea to Arsenal, playing in midfield now, even though he's a forward.
Rice.
No, the other one. Oh, what's his name?
Casido.
The one who went from Chelsea to Arsenal for like 65 million.
Oh, Havertz.
Yes, he's the great. He's going to win the Ballon d'Or this year. Absolute quality. Absolute quality.
Terrible player. Terrible. Spanish. Terrible player. David Villa, he get in a Spanish team.
Well, then, mate, right? David Villa, what a player.
Xavi.
Gabriel Batistuta, what a player.
He was Argentinian.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going through good players.
I watched him live when he played for Fiorentina at Old Trafford, 19, whatever it was. What a goal he scored. Hits it straight down the middle of the net, but the ball went like that. And Matt Bosnick was just all over the gaff. It just hit the back of the net and he broke the net. The Angel Arc, Batistuta, what a player he was.
He was awesome. What about Roberto Carlos's free kick? Like the first time we saw it on TV, it was mental. When it was against Scotland, where it just goes, seems like it's like 10 yards out.
Best free kick I've seen, probably. It's probably David Beckham one. It was at Goodison Park. We just won the league. I think it was 2002 or 2003. And he's at the right corner, but about 30 yards out. and he's whipped it over the wall, but he's gone the far corner and it's gone right in the top corner. Oh, what a free kick! And just
he used to do that a lot, didn't he? Instead of going instead of going for the one.
If you watch every keeper, they still do it. They gamble.
Yeah,
the step.
And it takes it.
You watch
takes it away, doesn't it?
You watch a keeper every single time gambles that side, the one way he's got the most space. So if you hit it right in the corner, they're not going to get it. So,
right, I got
the. I always used to do it every now and again, but you have to be a certain amount out because if you're too close, you can't do it.
If you were starting an all-time Manchester United 11, and you could only have, or an all-time Premier League 11, right? You can only have one Manchester United defender in it. What defender would you pick?
Say again.
You got to pick one defender from the Premier League era for Manchester United, but you could only pick one out of the four for the all-time Premier League. But I want you to think about how you'd want the team to play football as well. So, like,
it's either one or two in it. It's either Jaap Stam or Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, that's who I would go with as well.
And
or with no Vidic?
No. Vidic on his own would get exposed. He was a very good defender, but if you have someone with a pace on him one-on-one, I remember Fernando Torres ripping him
absolutely
one day.
Turned him inside out, didn't he?
There's a good partnership, but on his own, if he was isolated, then it'd be rash. Rio Ferdinand, you're not getting past him. He's like a Rolls Royce. You just take the ball off you and then meg you.
Would you take Ferdinand over Stam?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. His positional sense, when I used to watch him, his positional sense, John Terry was the same. Nothing come across. He would always cover the front near post, and he'd always, because they're so big, nothing would get crossed, and he would always cut that space out. He was just he could race against you. He was just unbelievable in his pomp. But on the downside, when you see Craig Bellingham and that goal he scored against City, and he's tried to scoop it over his head, that they managed at the halfway line, he's raced past him. That wouldn't have happened 3 or 4 years before.
No.
So, but Rio Ferdinand. Do anything, defend, play football. Yeah, do anything.
Do you remember Flamini? He used to play for Arsenal in the midfield. He was around. I think he was like the bench player when Vieira and that was there. But you remember who he is, or like you remember his name?
You what?
You remember Matthew Flamini, who used to play for Arsenal?
Yeah. I was watching a game recently. I sometimes watch the Premier League Classics. They're on Sky Sports. I watched it a couple of days ago, and he was playing that Flamini.
Do you know he's a billionaire now?
Is he? Yeah.
That is mental, mate, isn't it?
Really? Good luck to him.
Yeah, can't fault him, mate. I don't know what he's got into. I'm just having a quick look. He looks like he's got into biochemicals.
Really?
He's worth
clever as well.
Yeah, it seems so. He's worth 10 billion. Fucking hell. Jesus. Good for him. Leslie King.
He's got 10 billion.
It seems so. I don't know if he's got it or if he's worth it.
All right, come on, it's Super 6. Right. Fucking hour and 8 minutes here.
Leslie King, by the way.
Work tomorrow. Got a caddy load of kids tomorrow.
Overrated.
Half load of pupils. Carried a lot at the minute. Go on.
Right, Wolves versus Manchester City. I'm going 3-1 City.
I'm going to go 2-0 Wolves. Yes, to answer your question, he's messaging me here. He look at his eyes. Yes, it's every week. Go on, what? Sorry, mate. Go on.
What's every week?
No, I'm saying, look at his. No, it's a private joke. Go on.
Bournemouth versus Arsenal.
Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Is that Bournemouth?
Yeah, I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I went against Arsenal. I think on my Super 6 on the Wednesday. It was schoolboy error, so I'm not going to do it again. 2-1 Arsenal.
I got to just clarify. You said 2-0 Wolves, didn't you? Against City.
Yeah, 2-0 against Man City. Yeah, City on a downslope now. They've just been beat off Newcastle.
Okay.
Struggling now. This has been
just clarifying.
Yeah, it's 2-0.
There we go. You'll be laughing or you'll not. Manchester United are home to Crystal Palace for the second time in a week.
Easy, 3-0 win. Home win. Run a
3-1. I got 3-1.
Champions League, semi-finalist. Maybe win it. We're back now.
Back, racing to the top. Reece says, I think he's been borrowing those long cigarettes. Newcastle versus Burnley. 2-0 Newcastle for me, mate.
Where's it at, Burnley?
No, Newcastle, mate. Got to be a Newcastle win, haven't it? Surely.
Yeah, got a lot of injuries, haven't they?
Do you know, though?
1-0 Newcastle.
I got 2-0 Newcastle. I was quite impressed with the way Burnley played against United, though, although United let them play, didn't they? Spurs versus Liverpool.
Yeah, we're toying with them. Toying with him. City manager, I'm toying with him. Go on.
Spurs, Liverpool at Spurs.
Spurs. Who are they playing?
Liverpool. 2-2 I got.
No, I'm going to go.
Spurs been real good. And Postecoglou.
3-1 Liverpool.
Oh, tell you what, you're going to either have a blinding week or an absolute nightmare if you stick to these. Forest versus Brentford. I got 1-0 Forest. I have 1-0 to the Forest.
1-1. What score draw?
Score draw. There we go. That's the Super 6 for this week. And Cardiff City at home to Rotherham, where I will be in the Canton stand. If you see me, come and say hello.
Where are you going?
Watch Cardiff versus Rotherham, my friends.
What, are you going away or is that at home?
It's at home.
All right, nice one. How are they doing, Rotherham?
Not very good.
Sweet.
Down the
Should
bottom.
be no win then,
Cardiff
should be no win.
Yeah, Cardiff won 3 of the last 4.
Not too much for them to play 2 games in a week, 3 games in a week.
No, they did. They played all the squad players and kids yesterday. None of them will start. Ramsey's injured, unfortunately, but they done quite well.
Aaron Ramsey's injured. That surprises me.
Yeah, I know. But they done quite well without their 3 wins on the bounce, mate. In the league. So they're flying 7th in the league. Rotherham are 1 but last. Only won 1 game all season, which means they'll probably beat Cardiff.
You're going to jinx yourself.
I know. No, they'll probably
Ryder
win.
Cup tomorrow as well. You're watching it, Ryder
I
Cup.
watch a bit of it, like now and then. I'll sort of dip in and out of it. I saw Gareth Bale tee off for the celebrity one the other day.
Milan for our sips and I watched the tee off.
Why aren't you playing in the celebrity one, mate? Come on. You're always telling me how good you are at golf.
Man, taking the piss. Watched it last night, actually. Djokovic. I beat Djokovic, no problem.
What's Gareth Bale like? Is he...
Gareth Bale, it would be a challenge, but I'd still beat him.
Interesting.
Easily.
One day we'll get that done.
Easily.
Mate. Easily.
Gareth Bale, a bit nip and tuck, but that Carlos Sainz and Djokovic, easy work.
Smashing them. What does Bale play off?
Bale plays about 1 or 2.
Remind me what you play off again?
5. So you give me 3 shots. Easy work. It's only 3 shots. That's all I need.
It's got to get that down though now, mate, haven't you? Sure.
Yeah, I haven't played for about a month and a half. I told you this job I'm at, just carrying pure staff and pupils. It's a joke. Look at my face. I'm just knackered. Just carrying people on a daily basis.
Yeah, and now you've just carried this podcast for 1 hour and 15 minutes, mate.
Done it for how many years now?
Yeah, 3. We're into the 3rd year, mate. Should be celebrating soon, isn't it? When are you coming down to the diff anyway? It's supposed to be coming down.
Next couple of months, if they don't come down in the school holidays, it'd be definitely Christmas. So
sweet.
Yeah. It'll be this year.
We'll have an Ace Podcast Nation Christmas party.
All right, but
Teddy, right? Nice one, guys. As always, nice one for all the comments. Always a pleasure. We will be back next Thursday. I will be back on.